Good to have you back with us here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. If Donald Trump was polling like Chris Christie, nobody would pay attention to him because what he says is so absurd. I said yesterday on this production that I do believe that there's going to be a good amount of Americans out there who are going to say, yeah, damn right, let's go after their families. But think about it. Are we going to do covert operations in foreign countries to go hijack families of terrorists so we can bring terror to their lives? What is he talking about? This is the Trumpster on Fox News.
I would knock the hell out of ISIS.
But we see that
and the
happening
other
in
thing
Ramadi.
is with the terrorists, you have to take out their families. When you get these terrorists, you have to take out their families. They care about their lives. Don't kid yourself. But they say they don't care about their lives. You have to take out their families.
Let's turn now to Congressman Alan Grayson of Florida. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Ed.
I want your reaction. I know how you feel about this fight against ISIS and what our country should be doing. But when you hear something like that, I take pause. What does it mean? Does he mean that he wants American soldiers to cut the heads off the family members? Are we going to run special ops to pick these people up and bring them to the United States? I mean, this is the first time in my life that I've ever heard a presidential hopeful admit that he's willing to commit war crimes. How else do I read it?
Oh, that's a war crime. That's exactly right. It doesn't matter what the methodology is. It doesn't matter whether he sends special ops or decides to nuke some poor corner of the earth because some terrorists happen to come from there. Whatever the methodology may be, the fact is that it's a war crime. It's a violation of the Geneva Convention and a violation of the laws of war. And we have, as you point out, a presidential hopeful actually describing the intent to commit war crimes.
He is not only a presidential hopeful, he is the leading candidate right now for the Republican Party, polling in double digits ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and more generally what this is referred to under the laws of war is it's called collective punishment. This idea that you punish a group for the acts of an individual in the group. It has a long and sordid history. It's practiced today even in these times in North Korea and virtually nowhere else. In recent times it's practiced by the Nazis. There's an interesting story that comes out of the author of the life of the author of The Final Solution. His name was Reinhard Heydrich. He was an officer among the Nazis, a very high-level SS officer. He was assassinated by two Czech partisans. The Nazis decided to, as they often did, take collective punishment. They identified the two villages where the two partisans had come from. They killed every single person in both villages. And by the way, those weren't the right villages.
Amazing.
They killed two entire villages full of people by mistake.
What is the reaction on Capitol Hill amongst your colleagues when this is being circulated by Trump and picked up repeatedly by the media, played over and over again?
I don't think that there's a reaction among us because we don't really feel like we're direct participants. I think even on the Republican side, the sense among members of the House of Representatives and the Senate is that it's all a show that's playing out before our eyes and that we're not active participants in it. I can come on your show and I can go on other media like MSNBC and condemn this as a war crime.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that the Republican voters don't pay much attention to that kind of statement. By critics, they, as you point out, they cheer on that kind of irrational and deeply evil remark by one of their leading candidates. And it's happened more than once. I said not too long ago that for people here on Capitol Hill and around the country, it's like a reality show. The show's not called The Biggest Loser, it's called The Biggest Bigot. And the biggest bigot becomes the Republican nominee for president.
Congressman Alan Grayson with us here. And finally, Trump says that we are we're fighting a very politically correct war. Your response to that?
It's politically correct in the sense that we haven't committed any war crimes on a regular basis the way that he's described. We haven't adopted the policy of the slaughter of the innocent, something that's been condemned by civilized societies now for 3,000 years. So in that sense, I guess it's politically correct, and I'm not sure I feel very guilty about that. There has been a distinction between belligerents and non-belligerents, combatants and non-combatants that goes back to biblical times. You know, when the two sides went into war in biblical times, they didn't just go off and kill everybody who happened to be on the other side whenever they have a chance. It's hardwired into us to understand that there are belligerents and non-belligerents. The reason why ISIS is considered to be so evil, the reason why Al-Qaeda is considered to be so evil is because they don't make that distinction. And now he wants us to join them.